Welcome back, Will Brooks here to the program. Getting ready for, was it UFC Fight Night 96, Will? Is that what it is?
I believe it is. I'm not 100% sure. Can't keep track of all the numbers.
I know. There's so much UFC going on right now. It's a little bit crazy. Alex Oliveira, of course, is the opponent you got coming up. 18-1 is your record. You had a hiccup against Saad Awad. You got KO'd back in 2013, if I remember right. And since then, it's been a 10-fight win streak, 9-fight win streak.
9 fight. It'll be 10 after I win this one.
I've been following you on social media. You've been pretty. Most of the fans would say cocky. A lot of people are going to say outspoken. But I'm just saying that this is just who you are. Like you put it out there. This is what's going to happen, and you go make it happen. Once you say it, you kind of find a way to make those words become a reality. Have you been getting any extra pressure, feeling any extra heat when you're out there training? Because you've said, I'm definitely going to win this next one?
No, not at all, man. I mean, from pressure from who? My coaches know who I am. I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of doing. It's not so much being cocky or arrogant or anything like that. I'm sure it comes off like that in some ways to some people, but at the end of the day, I just know the work I put in, man. I know what I have. I know I have what it takes to be a champion, and I've demonstrated that in the previous organization that I fought for. So why now? Why would I change my way of moving? It's worked well for me throughout my life. I just find a way to win. I know how to win. I'm a competitor, and this is what I do. Is if I voice that, it's because at some point, all the humility and being humble this, humble that, sometimes you have to throw that out the window and just trust yourself and know that you got what it takes. So right now, there's no pressure. We're just doing exactly what we thought we were going to do.
Is it what drives you in the morning? Are you getting up, getting ready for a paycheck, and trying to provide for your family? Are you someone who just loves the competition? You love the adrenaline rush. You love the fight. You love the actual getting to go and punch somebody in the head. You love the training. Like, what's your motivation when you get up in the morning knowing, hey, I got to fight October 1st? What's my motivation this morning?
I think it's a combination of things. Now that I'm a father and a husband, that's number one for me, right? So I have responsibilities to take care of my wife and provide for my wife and provide for my daughter and protect them. And doing my job is what financially helps me to do that, So that's number one. Number two is I'm a competitor. This is who I am. I've been this person since I was born. I told my parents since day one that I was going to be a pro athlete. I was going to be a superstar. And at the time when I was younger, football was that way of doing it. But now mixed martial arts has become that tool. So I drive myself to continue to do that and continue to accomplish these goals that I've set for myself. And three is just, man, I'm just good at it. I just love it. It's just fun. It's a good time. It's just, I just believe that when you're good at something, you put everything you got into it, and that itself can be a motivation to find out if you can keep doing it every single fight and every single training camp. If you can go in a gym and have that same fire, and then on top of that, throw more gas on it and figure out how to get better. So it's a combination of different things,
So it broke today that Alvarez was supposed to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov, and he said no. Khabib had put out, "Hey, it's the best birthday present ever. I'm getting ready to fight for a championship belt. Like, this is amazing." Because somebody asked, originally came from Dana, a fan asked Dana, "Hey, should I get? Is it going to be McGregor and Alvarez? Should I get my tickets for 205?" And he was like, "No, it's going to be Alvarez and Khabib." But now he's saying no. Alvarez is saying no, it's not. Like, I'm waiting for McGregor. It's holding up the belt now. That's going to hold up the belt in your weight class. It's also one of those situations where we've all seen the money, right? This is now the big conversation that's being had right now in MMA is the money that came out of the McGregor-Diaz fight. They fought at 170. It was a weird weight class for both guys. I mean, let's be honest, Diaz is not really a 70-pounder. He's a 55-pounder that just doesn't want to put the weight on and be that heavy or be that light. So he's keeping himself up there. What are your thoughts on Eddie holding off and going, no, I'm only taking the counter fight? Because we both know, I don't know what his numbers are. I don't know what he's actually getting paid. But the Khabib fight's like $200,000. McGregor's fight's going to be $2 million. So if you wait another 6 months, it doesn't matter. It's $2 million, or something like that. So what's your feeling on that whole situation right now?
Well, my feeling is this, and I've been very vocal about this, and I think a lot of people recognize that on social media. I feel as though when you become a champion, you have a certain responsibility. You know, you have and I get the landscape has changed now, but at one point when you became a champion, you had a certain responsibility to defend that title and let people know that I'm a champion for a reason. Not get the title and then all of a sudden believe that you control everything. And then on top of that, you have to step back and look at Alvarez. Nobody's clamoring to watch Alvarez fight. Anybody, really. Nobody's going out of their minds and be like, oh, I can't wait to see Alvarez fight, blah, blah, blah. And for him to turn around and say, you know what, I want to fight Conor McGregor because that's the money fight. To me, all I hear is this guy saying, on my own, I can't bring this organization money. I can't bring in the money. I can't bring in the views on my own. I need to piggyback off of someone else. Fine, whatever. Do your thing. But at the same time, what happens when that money fight comes? Now you're rolling the dice. Now it's 50-50. If you lose that fight, now what are you left with? One, you're not a real draw. Two, you're left with a loss, no title. Now where you're back at square one trying to build back up when there's a handful of lightweights that are making moves right now that if you lose, you'll get pushed behind those guys and now they get their opportunities, right? So why not build yourself a platform, beat a couple of these guys, beat Khabib, turn around and beat Tony Ferguson and be the champion for 2 or 3 fights and then turn around and be like, you know what? I'll beat your top guys. Now I want to fight. I want money fight, you know. And then you go after a McGregor or a Nate Diaz to try to get one of these money fights. But build yourself up. Make something that you can sit on, you know. Make yourself a pedestal instead of trying to piggyback off other guys. And I think this is a problem that guys aren't thinking about. They're seeing these Diaz and McGregor made this amount, but they don't understand that those guys are able to carry themselves. They made that. They built that over time, and now they're cashing in. So guys aren't really thinking about the big picture. They only see the dollar signs and chasing the dollar signs, but make it last, you know?
And I've said that for years. We all deserve, well, you guys all deserve $1 million every time that you step in and fight. Like every time you should be getting paid $1 million. But that's not what you get. You get what you negotiate. And it's all based on ticket sales and the ability to get people to watch you and get polarized. 50% of people want to see McGregor lose. 50% of the people want to see McGregor win. But 100% of the people are watching him. And that's what he brings to the table. And so he's a big money fight. And he basically has the UFC underneath his thumb because he is the draw. He is the guy that brings in all the money. He's way bigger than GSP was when he left. Way bigger than Anderson Silva was when his heyday. And now I think he's bigger than, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, and of course the folks at home will tell me, I think he's bigger than Brock Lesnar as far as pay-per-view buys go.
Yeah, but I mean, look at what he did. Even before he got his shot at Aldo, he wasn't picking fights. He was taking fights. Guys fall out of fights. He was taking the fights, and a guy might come in on 2 weeks' notice, but all he did was keep his whole program going and keep chopping them down and keep his whole routine going and talking his trash and doing all this and doing that. And then once it came to, oh, now I'm going to fight Aldo, now all these big dollars are coming in now, you know. So you got to build up to it. Guys are thinking about that one big bang shot, you know, but they're not thinking about substance. They're not thinking about how long can I make this work? I can cash in right now, but once I cash in and I'm not that draw, what do I do next? You know, guys aren't thinking, they're not thinking it all the way out, you know.
And of course, I actually talked about it earlier today. I was being interviewed because, you know, the big change of Joe Silva leaving the UFC at the end of the year, is retiring out. They brought in Mick Maynard from Legacy Fighting that I've known for forever down in Texas. He's now coming in and taking over essentially Sean Shelby's position, and then Sean Shelby's getting moved up the chain. So we're talking about how Joe basically invented the way of MMA, how we match it up, where the best guys fight the best guys all the time. No one's getting coddled, no one's getting their hand held, no one's going to get protected. Like, everyone's going to fight the best guys, and then the championship bouts were taken out of his hands because those are the money fights, and that's where you get, like, I explained it earlier where Chael Sonnen fights Anderson Silva and loses in a title fight, and then somebody pulls out against John Jones a couple months later, and Chael takes that fight and jumps in and gets that championship fight at a weight class above, and he just lost the championship fight the weight class below, but gets it because he can sell seats. And that's why a guy like Conor, that started way back then, where guys like Conor, like, you talk enough, you chop guys down, you take the heat in the beginning, you show that you can prove it. People want to buy tickets. All of a sudden, now you're in that game. Why is that not happening for Will Brooks? Why is that not happening for you right now? You come over from Bellator, extremely polarized, unhappy, and vocally unhappy at Bellator. Get out of your contract finally. Get brought over to the UFC. And fans are still, it seems to me, they're kind of still lukewarm on you. When you say something that stings them, they all of a sudden want to answer back, but they're not giving you 1,000 retweets. They're not jumping on there and giving you 1,000, 100,000 likes and doing all that stuff. They're still really lukewarm. How come the fan base? Because you have the same style, I believe, that Conor does. Very in your face, very manufactural, but the fans aren't grabbing it yet. How come?
I think that's because, the previous organization that I fought in had a lot of negative energy surrounding it, so any of those fighters that competed for that organization, we had to bear that weight, so a lot of people weren't, when people thought of mixed martial arts, they thought of the UFC and then everybody else, so if you weren't fighting in the UFC, you weren't that good, you might be beating those guys, you might be fighting well over there, but at the end of the day, what do most people believe? Once you sign with the UFC, now you have some sort of superpower, now you're the best dude in the world, right? So now that transition, people are still kind of in between where they want to see what I can do. And I get it. I dig it. I appreciate it. It is what it is. It's how the fans operate. Did I come in? I think coming in and fighting Ross Pearson in the circumstances that I did it under, there was the whole build-up with leaving the previous organization, and people wanted to talk about that more than they actually wanted to talk about what I was going to do next. It was just that whole drama. And I think that was partly my fault. I created more drama than actually making people see my skills and making people understand that I'm a talented fighter. And I kept fueling that whole thing. But now I believe that people are starting to come around and starting to understand that I'm a guy that is a competitor, especially after being able to come out there on 3 weeks' notice and compete against a guy like Ross Pearson, who's he's not a ranked guy, but he's still a talented knockout artist and knock you out with both hands. And I went out there and I beat him decisively, in third round. I got a little tired, but, this happens in the sport, But I think overall fans are starting to get where I'm coming from. They're starting to understand what type of guy I am. And I think, again, it's one of those things where it's all timing, It's all about timing, and you just got to keep building it. And like you said with Conor, he kept chopping at it, and then all of a sudden people started to come around and really listen to him and believe what he was saying. So I'm kind of in that same boat, and I'm kind of like the new guy on the block again. I'm not a champion anymore. I'm a new guy. So I'll continue to chop that tree down. I'll keep chopping at it, and eventually it'll fall. And when it falls and the sun is shining, I'll be there to bask in the light, So this is just a process.
What do you think it's going to take for you to get a title shot? How many more wins do you have to get? Because you said you are the new guy. It is tough for you right now. You are starting, even though you're very talented, they're putting you back at the bottom. That's just how it works. And yeah. I understand it. As you understand it, you get how the system works. How many fights are you going to have to win before they're going to start looking at you for a title shot?
I honestly don't think that many. I think if I'm looking at it outside of just skills and what we bring to the cage, I look at it and I believe that right now I'm one of the more charismatic, well-spoken guys. Not to sound arrogant or egotistical, I think I'm a handsome guy. I'm approachable from people. I have that X factor. I think I've had it for a very long time now. So I think that's something that the UFC is looking for right now. I think that's why there's been this shuffling of the lightweight division where nobody's really pulling the trigger as far as Khabib fighting Alvarez or Alvarez fighting Tony Ferguson or Khabib fighting Ferguson for the title fight. Nobody's really jumping up and down to see those fights happen because those guys, don't have that X factor. They don't have that superstar characteristic where they're going to get this spotlight and they're going to bring more with it. They're going to bask in the light, and they're going to bring more fans, bring more faces. So I think that's a problem right now, and I think I'm a solution to that. I'm a guy that's going to come out there and I'm going to beat a guy in mixed martial arts from striking to wrestling to jiu-jitsu, and I'm going to be able to talk well at the same time. I believe I carry myself in a professional manner. So aside from the skills and the talents, I believe I have the full package, So I don't see myself having to, fight 4 or 5 fights before I'm at the top. I just don't see it, But, if that's something that does come about, then I'll do that. And I'll continue, like I said, chop at that tree until it falls. And when it falls, I will be there to bask in the light. And everybody else can watch me. And I'll stand there and say, I told you so.
I will say this. I've seen you interact with fans live when you're not fighting. I've seen you interact with fans when you're fighting the week of a fight week. I've seen you interact with your fans and your haters on social media, and you do approach everybody pretty much equally. If you come at me like an asshole, then I'm going to come back at you like an asshole. You come at me straight, I'm going to come back straight with you, and mutual respect, we can agree to disagree. It's totally fine. But when you're standing there live in front of your fans, you could care less who they are, what they are. They want a picture, they want an autograph. You will stand there all day long doing it. You have that, because I'm old, it's the T Ortiz factor. Not because he's in Bellator, it's because when he first started fighting in the UFC, he was that guy who would stand there just after making weight, literally staying out front, signing every single autograph, taking pictures of every single person until everybody was satisfied because he knows the fans are what's in the seats. And I've seen you do the same thing. And that really is more of the X factor that I think that you have than all the other stuff you talked about. That the fact that you will spend extra time with your fans just because you get it. If they're not buying tickets, you're not getting paid. And so you understand that game.
And on top of that, I appreciate people, man. I love people. If they're feeding me positive energy, I feel like that only helps me go in the gym and perform, So why not interact outside of mixed martial arts and fighting? I am a person. I am a fan of the sport. So if I can hold a conversation with another fan as a fan, of course I'm going to engage in that, And then if there's a guy that wants to be a fan that's attacking me as an athlete, I'm going to engage you. I'm going to engage you as an athlete, and you're just a fan now. And now we'll have our disagreement. And I'm never trying to, attack anybody in a nasty way or anything like that. I'm just trying to connect with people and be like, listen, we can either be human beings together, or we can kind of go back and forth and have these small little spats and all these different things. And as far as the fans and wanting to stand around and take photos with the fans and things like that I love this, man. I love that opportunity. The fact that somebody would want to come out, take time out of their day to come and watch me do such a basic thing that we all have the ability to do. We all have that ability to fight and perform or whatever. Maybe I'm trained to do it at this point, but the fact that you come out and you're supporting me as an athlete and supporting me as a person, it's my responsibility. It's my right. I have to stop and stand there until everybody gets a photo, until everybody gets an autograph, because, man, that's me repaying you as on a personal level, not just me being in the cage, just me personally repaying you for putting your time in, So I guess that's just how I like to operate,
Last thing before I get you out of here, Colin Kaepernick obviously still taking a knee every time the national anthem plays. I get his reasoning. I understand why he's doing it. I just don't agree with it. I'm just one that's, if it's the national anthem, I'm gonna stand up, and I'll have my protest some other way. How do you feel about him taking a knee before the national anthem? It's a huge topic right now, especially over the last couple of days. I guess we've had 2 more police shootings. I never make a judge because I want to wait till everything comes out. You never know. Waiting for the body cam photos to come out and video to come out. You have to wait for that stuff to happen because let's be honest, first responders are under a lot of stress every day and have less than a tenth of a second to make a decision. Am I going to get killed? Am I going to protect the safety of the citizens? So it's difficult. So I get it, but. How do you feel about Colin taking a knee during the national anthem? Like many other people, I respect and understand. Of course, being a black man, an African American, I do appreciate and respect the motivation. Would I have approached it in that manner? I can't say that I would have, but at this level of where things are going, somebody had to do something drastic. That's the only time that change happens. A lot of people are talking on social media and talking to the media and all these different things, but it's gotten nowhere. But that guy doing one simple action like sitting down, that a bunch of other people, I guarantee you a lot of people in that stadium that day were sitting down or had a hat on and wasn't paying attention and doing everything else. But him doing that one act brought people's attention to it, and it continues to bring people's attention to it. And now he's not only bringing attention to an issue, but he's also he's uniting people. There's more. We forget that sometimes this is not just a black and white thing, and at some point it has to be a group issue. Not so much black people are being killed by white police officers. No, this is people being killed. Black on black crime in neighborhoods such as Chicago is at an all-time high right now.
instead of seeing it as black people killing black people, just see it as people killing people. And I think that's where he's trying to go with it, you know. And I support him in what he's doing. Would I have done that? No, but I support him 100%, especially with, you know, the fact that I am an African American man. And, you know, there are times where I'm driving in my vehicle and people may think it's a dramatic thing, but there are times where I pass a police officer and I'm not thinking about, is he going to pull me over for a ticket or a speeding violation or a traffic violation? I'm at the point now where I'm thinking, am I going to make it home to my daughter? Because is this that one police officer that is undertrained or may not be educated, or is just one of those police officers? I'm not saying all police are bad, but it might be that one guy that I may not make it home to my wife and my daughter. So this is something that is on my mind whenever I'm in my vehicle or wherever I have to have exchanges with police officers. And it's an unfortunate thing because these are the people that are supposed to protect us and help us solve issues like black on black crime in our community. So I fully support him. And, you know, I wish something else could have been done to get us to this point where people are really talking about it. But if this is what is the tipping point that brings people attention to it, then so be it.
Will, I hear your daughter gurgling in the background, and I know how important family time is to you. So I'm gonna get you out of here now.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry, she's 6 months now. She's all talkative. She wants to make all kinds of noise now.
So it's I might be down your neck of the woods next week, and if I am, I'll hit you up and come down. I go over and see Carbon. I go down to Carbon Juice Bar whenever I'm in town. So I'll come and check you out. Yeah, I try not to because I'm working with the rival team down there. I'm helping some of the guys down there, so I never want to step into the main floor because I find it disrespectful to be there, you know, when I'm not supposed to be there. So I had out.
No, it's all good. I saw you the other day. You were here a few days ago, but I was in the middle of practice, and when I turned around, you were gone. So I was like, oh shoot. But yeah, man, it's all good, man. I get it. It is what it is.
I just don't want to. Well, because I have so much love for Labario and for the AT team guys, and let's be honest, the guys that are there, like I really like a lot of you, and I don't want to have that. What the hell is he doing here? Why is he looking? Why is he creeping around? Like, I'm not creeping, man. I came in to get some juice. Yeah. I'm just trying to. So I just got to sneak out the back, you know. Yeah, but yeah, I'll hit you up when I'm there. I saw you over there working out. And if I'm in, I'll hit you up and let you know that I'm coming through. And then if you're done, we hang out for a couple minutes in the back.
Right on, man. Sounds good to me.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you. If I don't see you, have a great rest of your training camp. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Have a nice day.